And so it's just kind of like, I want to get in. I don't have all the time, like the friends to, you know, come over and play the video games with me. So it's like able to connect with people and start, you know, sorry, I'm smacking my mic. So yeah, just like jumping in and finding like that community, or just like feeling not so alone, I guess, in some sense, you know, even if I wasn't necessarily talking with them, there was still that sense of like, I'm hanging out with someone.
Okay.
So I think that's like the main reason I started to get into it.
Did you play with like more people you knew at first, or were these just like random strangers you
It was more people I knew at first. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then like with the World of Warcraft thing, my brother started to introduce me to like his guild and like the people there. And so those are like more people that like, I don't really know except by like proxy of someone.
Right.
And then like occasionally there'd be times that I'm like hanging out with them alone and not like my brother included. And so it was like, yeah.
That's like the gaming. That's usually how the gaming circles like go, right? How long did you World of Warcraft?
Probably for about 2 years. I think it was like from vanilla to, no, it was probably longer because I remember vanilla and then I went all the way to like Cataclysm, which I think was like a few years. So, but it's very off and on. Like I wasn't like one of those like very, very dedicated World of Warcraft players, but I was like into it.
What kind of like drew you in and would bring you back, do you think?
It was probably like the community, but also the fantasy element. I'm a big sucker for like fantasy, a decent story. Like you give me those things, give me lore. You know, if you're feeding me the lore, especially like a background as to why something is the way it was, I'm just like a sucker for it. I was like, oh my God, yes, tell me more.
And World of Warcraft has a bunch of like lore.
And
like,
their cinematics are freaking amazing. Oh, Blizzard just knows what they're doing with those, and you get the lore. Yeah, and I stopped playing, but like there's more. Like recently I've been seeing the new like Shadowlands expansion. It's been years since I played, but like Shadowlands I guess is coming out, and that one like I was watching like a few people stream like the cinematics, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm tempted to go back so bad now.
Well, let me know when you go back.
The inevitable demise, right?
It's so funny because that's been so many of like my friends' experience too, that they're like, they've just been on like a hiatus from it recently, and then like with this new expansion coming out, they're like jumping back in. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? How describe like the community to me a little bit of what you enjoyed about them.
Yeah, so everyone was just, I think the biggest thing was that people were generally kind. There was only few and far between when you get someone that was like trolling or just really off-putting. So there was like the kindness. There was people were like, the people I interacted with, they'd be like, oh, do you need this? Do you need this? Like, oh, like here you go. And I'm like, oh my God, like you're helping me get farther than like I think I would normally do by myself. So there was that. There was getting to, you know, hear their stories too. Like I remember there was a gentleman. Oh my goodness, what was his name? Oh God, Mr. Roy. There we go. Sorry. That was who he went by. And I started to like know about his family and like how he had like a granddaughter and like finding out, of course, he's like upper, you know,
I was gonna say, wow,
50s,
he's like
60s.
a man.
Yeah, like he's an older man from like, I think Arkansas or something like that. And so just finding like things like that. And then other people too, like I think I started to like got introduced to his son and like just like the whole family element. So kind of like knew them by like from a distance, and it was interesting. Like it's like I know about you guys' life.
Yeah,
and
awesome. Would you share stuff about you?
Yeah, and like sharing with them, and like because they knew my brother, like they were friends with him, and so they're like, "Oh, how's your brother? Oh, he's doing good. I'm doing all right. You know, our world's on fire. You know, it was also on fire back then too. California was still, you know, hot. So, and just different things like that. So it was like that friendship element was there and you could come back to it. And so they were like the big ones I think I remember from that period of time in my life.
Yeah. How old were you during that time?
Probably, I think it was like 18. So for anyway, like from the years of 18 to 2022.
Okay, cool. No, I'm not going to fact check you, I promise.
No, you're good. He's like, let's see.
I don't need access to your account.
Did he actually play them? Let's see.
No, that's awesome. It's like kind of like a little like virtual family a little bit, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
No, you literally had a grandpa. Like, you literally
Yeah, it was just like another, grandfatherly dude. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's amazing.
And he was like a cool, kind guy. Like, he would pull the whole like grandparents thing, like, oh, here's this, like, and like some gold and this. And I'm just like, I'm being spoiled.
Yes.
If only this could translate to real life.
Right.
Not totally.
Same. What's the least I have to do to get the most reward? Like, yeah,
right.
the same thing. Like, what do I have to do?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just send you a picture of just me. Like, give me money.
Welcome to the era of OnlyFans and all that jazz, where you just, and not even the bad, like, quote bad, OnlyFans, just like the ones of like cute pictures.
Right, that's only, like, my OnlyFans is literally just gonna be me giving like positive affirmations.
Yes.
Like, that's it. For $5 a month, I'll make you feel good about yourself.
Precisely.
How would you identify in terms of race, sexuality, and gender? And then, yeah, we'll start there.
Yeah. So a Mexican, so bisexual, and a cisgender man would be the labels.
Cool. And then how do you understand these identities for yourself?
That's good. Ooh, that's a good one.
Thanks.
Let me think. Sorry, thought I heard someone calling me. Let's see. So like that. So with Mexican, it's like it's my culture. It's what I grew up with. Interestingly, though, like there was a period in time where I was like kind of missing because I felt very whitewashed, I guess, for a while. But like in like the past 10 years, really like reclaiming that sense of like music, food, and other things that are like in Spanish too, even like, cause I started to lose my Spanish and I couldn't speak it very well. I still can't. So like, it's sort of like a cultural identity that, it kind of, it connects me with people that are similar, or, if they're Latinx or Mexican even, but any of those, it connects me with them, but also sort of differentiates me from others, and not necessarily negatively either. As for bisexual, it's, understanding that like I like who I like, and there isn't necessarily an emphasis on gender, bisexual, pansexual. Why I choose bisexual, I'm not actually 100% sure, but I would never be like, oh, I don't like so-and-so because they don't, they're not X, Y, and Z. But it's just understanding that like I care about people and sexually attracted to people that are the same gender as me, and then also other genders that aren't the same as mine.
Right.
And it's just, and it's that identity is a big one for me because it's so, in today's world, I feel like we're like polarized a lot. You have to be like one or another, and so it's like, well, I'm somewhere in the middle in a sense, or like in a different, plane, whatever you want to say.
Right.
And so that one's a bigger for me because it's like you said, like when your friends are saying, oh, like, oh, they know, or, like, oh, you're gay. And then you're like having to make that comment of like, depending on the context, oh, well, I'm not gay. Like, or what do you mean they know? Like, no, I can, when you casually pass by and call me gay, that's fine. Like, we get it. We get what you're saying. I'm not straight, but, I am, I like who I like in the end. And then what was the last one? A cisgender man. That one's, it's with today and understanding like cisgender and transgender. That one's more newer to me, cause it was just like a lot of assumptions, like, well, I'm this and I'm this and blah, 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 but realizing there's more to it. So that one I'm like still trying to understand because we're realizing there's